Pakistan Cricket Board is learned to have offered to hold all India matches in the city of Lahore for Champions Trophy 2025. But sources indicate India is not keen to put world champions in harm's way and has suggested that matches be played either in the United Arab Emirates or in Sri Lanka, following the hybrid model that's been used before. The BCCI, of course, will follow government instructions on this issue. But the question remains, should India risk the lives of world champions by sending them to Lahore at a time when Pakistan continues to spread terror in India and uses terror as an instrument of Pakistan's state policy?
Pakistan is all set to host the Champions Trophy in 2025. But newly crowned T20 World Champions India are unlikely to participate in the marquee event. BCCI sources say that the men in blue are unlikely to travel to Pakistan to play the tournament. It has been reported that plans are underway to conduct the Champions Trophy on the lines of a hybrid model similar to the Asia Cup 2023.
So I have no hesitation in saying that we should play Pakistan in a neutral venue, and because, well, we need to prove that we are better at the game than any other country, and certainly better at the game in all sectors of the game than Pakistan.
The BJP has welcomed the decision by India's top cricketing body.
भारत की कमिटमेंट है जीरो टॉलरेंस ऑन टेररिज्म। हम उस पर पूरी तरह वचनबद्ध हैं। अपने नागरिकों की सुरक्षा हमारे लिए सबसे ऊपर है।
There is a sentiment which is brimming up in the entire country that Pakistan, which has been propagating, which has been patronizing, which has been pushing through its terrorists from across the border and thereby posing serious threats to the lives and the limbs of people living in the entire India, particularly those in Jammu and Kashmir. So in this atmosphere and this background, on this very canvas, it is very difficult to carry on such cricket diplomacy with Pakistan.
Former Jammu Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah believes that establishing better relations solely does not fall on India. It is Pakistan's responsibility as well.
अभी काफ़ी साल हो गए हमने बायलैटरल एक दूसरे के मुल्कों में नहीं खेला है। अब टूर्नामेंट के हवाले से अगर इंडिया की टीम नहीं जाएगी तो ये बीसीसीआई का अपना फैसला है। मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि इस मुल्क में और इन दोनों मुल्कों के दरमियान बेहतर रिश्ते कायम करने में जिम्मेदारी सिर्फ हमारे मुल्क की नहीं है। अगर इस मुल्क में बेहतर रिश्ते इन दोनों मुल्कों के दरमियान बेहतर रिश्ते बनाने हैं तो इसकी बहुत ज़्यादा जिम्मेदारी जो है पाकिस्तान की भी बनती है।
Champions Trophy 2025 will be the first global tournament that Pakistan has been the solo host since the 2009 attack on the Sri Lanka national cricket team. The last major tournament to take place in the country was the 1996 Cricket World Cup, which it co-hosted with India and Sri Lanka. Even India have also not toured Pakistan since 2008 after 26/11 Mumbai attacks, and the arch rivals play each other only at multi-team events. Now all eyes will be on ICC annual general meeting in Sri Lanka, where BCCI may ask ICC to hold India matches in Dubai or Sri Lanka. Bureau Report, India Today.
As the world's largest, the most powerful and the oldest democracy, India has always been in favor of people-to-people, sporting and cultural ties even with Pakistan, hoping it will encourage Pakistan to abandon the path of terror and live like civilized neighbors. But history has shown, despite bilateral cricket with Pakistan or multilateral cricket with Pakistan, terror remains an instrument of Pakistan's state policy. Is there then merit in choosing an alternate location and country and not Lahore in Pakistan? Joining me on India First is Ambassador Veena Sikri to give us a diplomatic perspective. Arzu Kazmi is a respected voice from Pakistan. My first question is to India Today's sports editor Nikhil Laz. Nikhil, give us details of the thinking within the cricket board here in India. Can India put our world champions in harm's way and send them to Pakistan even if all matches are held in Lahore. After all, the Sri Lankan cricket team was targeted at that Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore in 2009.
Well, Gaurav, to answer your question in just one sentence, I'd have to say that the Indian team traveling to Pakistan seems a very unlikely scenario at the moment. And I'm only reporting on the things that I've picked up from various different places. And there are multiple stakeholders. Let's start with the BCCI. I did have a conversation with a few, members of the BCCI, the powers that be. And the indication I've gotten is that the BCCI is not very keen to send the Indian team to Pakistan. That's first. Secondly, comes, and remember, previously as well, sometimes such decisions to send a team to Pakistan is relied solely upon the ministry. It's the Ministry of Home Affairs, which has to give a clear-cut green flag, and only then the team can travel. And at the moment, what I'm picking up, it's unlikely that you're going to get a permission from the ministry as well. The only official statement that we heard from the ministry was about 4 months ago from the then Sports Minister Anurag Thakur, who was pretty open and candid in his opinion. And he said there is no way that we'll be sending our team to Pakistan till such time that cross-border terrorism stops. So these are now two important, people that have spoken about it. Now let's get to the ICC, the neutral party in all of this. And I was there at the T20 World Cup, as you know, happen to meet with a few International Cricket Council members. And even though Pakistan maintains that they have given their entire schedule to the ICC, but remember, the go-ahead even from the ICC hasn't come. You speak about that attack that happened in 2009, and it was almost a decade since teams started returning to Pakistan. The last few years, we've seen teams travel to Pakistan. But remember, those are bilateral series. And even there, we've had a situation where the New Zealand team at the 11th hour decided to abandon their tour and come back. So there have been security concerns. And what I was told from the ICC, which is again a neutral body, that they're still not 100% convinced that Pakistan, from a security angle, can have a multi-nation tournament in Pakistan. So that's now the third hurdle that you have. And before I conclude, the fourth person that you really need to consider are going to be the players. And even though we haven't heard from the players, we've heard from the new India coach. Gautam Gambhir is yet to take charge of the Indian team, but he's going to be the coach when the Indian team travels for the Champions Trophy. And he made it very clear a couple of months ago that there should be no cricketing relations with Pakistan. If you put all those four things together, it seems highly unlikely that you'll have the Indian team travel to Pakistan. Might I add, it also seems very risky at the moment to even have the Champions Trophy in Pakistan in the first place.
Absolutely. And Arzu Kazmi, when the home of the Corps Commander of Lahore, when that home is not safe in Pakistan, when Pakistan Air Force bases in Mianwali are not safe from this highly radicalized mob in Pakistan, when Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan terrorists are repeatedly targeting Pakistani security forces within Pakistan, why should India risk sending our world champions to Pakistan when even ICC is not sure about the security situation in Pakistan, madam?
I just want to say that why, Gaurav, only for cricket you feel insecure in Pakistan, because you know that other teams from, you see that badminton, tennis or even kabaddi team from India, they visit Pakistan. And they are not feeling insecure or they are not remembering that Kashmir issue or terrorism at all. So why only for cricket you want to stop people to come to Pakistan? This is my question. And if you want to play in any other country like Dubai or Sharjah, so if you don't want to play with Pakistan because of the terrorism, then stop playing any game with Pakistan. Just close your embassy and show this Pakistan that we don't want to have any kind of relation with us. But on the other hand, we see that your team is coming from any other sports. Just, as I said, tennis, badminton, or even kabaddi and other teams, they are coming. People are coming from Pakistan to from India to Pakistan and going from Pakistan to India.
Nikhil, you want to quickly respond to this hypocrisy and this double standard, that there are restrictions on cricket team, but this hypocrisy and, Ambassador Sikri, I'll come to you also. But Nikhil, other teams play Pakistan, their hockey team comes to India, but it's only with cricket that the security issue is raised?
Well, that is true. That's an anomaly in that sense, Gaurav. If you see, in fact, just 3 months ago, I covered the Indian tennis team, their departure to Pakistan. They went and played a few Davis Cup matches. And at that time, I remember interviewing the manager who was leaving from Delhi for Pakistan. I asked him specifically that, is it a decision taken by the Indian Tennis Federation, or have you taken approvals from the ministry? And he said, you have to take approval from the ministry. And the Home Ministry looked at that situation and they've given us a go-ahead to go and play tennis there. And so when you thought, and I remember that's a national team, agreed, it's not a high-profile team like the cricket team that we have, but that was a national team of tennis that traveled to Pakistan. You've had a few other low-profile sport, if I may put it that way, that have traveled to Pakistan. I mean, that I think is something that's up for debate. You would want, if there is, see, I'm an expert on sport, but if I understood geopolitics better, if there are, powers that be, and if there are better people who have understanding of geopolitics, and if they believe that, listen, we do not have to have any sort of sporting relations with Pakistan, then I agree that you need to maintain it across sport. Even in cricket, you had a situation where Pakistan team traveled to India and play that World Cup game.
Yes.
Should you then be looking at a situation where, many nationalists, would say, or even cricket fans would say, that if you do not want to have any sort of relations, it's okay. We do not mind conceding 2 points. An Indian cricket fan, if you'd asked him, and if he thinks that, the life of a soldier is far more important than a game of cricket, they wouldn't mind conceding 2 points. They'd be happy
in fact,
if the Indian team does not indulge in a game.
On the contrary, why should we concede points? India's effort should be to get Pakistan out of ICC. If South Africa could be removed from international cricketing bodies because of apartheid, terror is worse than apartheid. It's the same or worse. So why should we concede points? We should get Pakistan out, Ambassador Sikri. And this actually exposes the hypocrisy, the sheer hypocrisy of India's Pakistan policy, madam.
I think there is no hypocrisy at all. We are very clear that we will not compromise with terror. Absolutely, there is no compromise on terror. Well, I mean, if you're thinking we don't have ambassadors in each other's mission, in each other's countries anyway, so that the relationship is already a downgraded one. And if the security situation continues to worsen, as it has been over the last couple of weeks, there might be further action contemplated. I think it is not a good example to say that the tennis team has gone, or the kabaddi team has gone, or even a Pakistan team has gone. Everything is linked case by case and is decided by the Home Ministry on the situation prevailing at that point.
But that would indicate in the Home Ministry the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. How can they think that it's okay for our tennis team to go and not okay for our cricket team to go? The lives of our cricket players are not more important than the lives of our tennis players, ma'am.
There is no comparison. No, there is no comparison between the two situations. The tennis team is a much smaller team. The playing takes place in a much smaller environment, not in a big stadium, maybe in a small unit. So it is much easier to secure such a team.
But isn't the issue only security?
I would like here to first and foremost draw attention to the continuing terrorism from Pakistan in place, even in Jammu as we speak. Our army and police is doing a search operation in Jammu as we speak because of terrorist incidents that have taken place in the last 24 and 48 hours. So I do not know what we are discussing when we are saying that shall we send the team or not send the team. There is such an upswing in terrorism, in cross-border terrorism by Pakistani infiltrators in the last few weeks, last few days, that why are we discussing this whole question of sending a cricket team at this point? If you look at it at this point, there certainly will be no question of sending a cricket team. And I think the point is very valid that has been made by Mr. Nikhil Naz, that the ICC itself is considering whether Pakistan can hold such a big championship, cricket championship or not. So far, Pakistan has not hosted any such big championship.
No, but the bigger issue remains, is there lack of clarity in our policy on dealing with Pakistan? Because Arzu Kazmi, your country exports terrorists. I mean, that's your biggest export to the world after, of course, perhaps donkeys to China. Donkey export to China may be bigger than terrorist export elsewhere. So the only two exports from Pakistan are terrorists and donkeys. Point one. Point two, Arzu Kazmi, why should the world play cricket with Pakistan or any sport for that matter with Pakistan when Pakistan uses terror as an instrument of state policy, even though the terror may be bleeding Pakistan? You're like a cancer patient who the terror of cancer is eating Pakistan from within, and yet you continue to spread terror.
But Gaurav, I really don't understand why you people always get worried about the cricket team.
No,
and
we've been through that point. If you have another point, I've moved to the next point. You've made that point in your first answer. What's your next point? Why does Pakistan continue to use terror as an instrument of state policy, madam?
No, it's not the state policy. I think because Pakistan is already launching some operations in KPK, you know it, that Azm-e-Istehkam, name is Azm-e-Istehkam, and they are going to, target all these terrorist groups. They are trying, पहले भी इन्होंने किया है, but now they are trying again to launch these kind of operations. So I think we should wait and see how they work, and they try to control it, or they just, it's such a drama only just to make people realize that yes, we are doing, but actually we are not. So we need to give some time to our agencies.
KPK, you will launch an operation, and for the benefit of our viewers, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is a province in Pakistan where a large number of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan terrorists are. But ma'am, your country launches an operation against KPK, against TTP in KPK. But why no operation against Lashkar-e-Taiba in Lahore or Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur? These are terrorists in Pakistan's Punjab province, madam.
This is what we are saying. This is what everybody wants, that this time they start the operation from Punjab, not from KPK or Swat. This is what people of Swat and people of KPK said, that they are not agree with the agencies and army that they start the operation from KPK. They want it to start, this time they want it to start to be from Punjab province. So let's see what they do.
Ma'am, Ambassador Sikri, before I bring in Nikhil Naz, do you think it's possible, or this is typical Pak double speak? They'll talk about taking action on terror, but only launch action against the so-called bad terrorists, the terrorists who target the Pakistan army in either KPK or in Balochistan.
Absolutely. The operations in KPK, what she's spoken about, are clearly operations against terror groups operating from Afghanistan. But there is no action, not even a hint of an action. They don't even accept that Jaish-e-Mohammed or Lashkar-e-Taiba are groups operating against India. And they keep saying that these groups, the leaders of those groups are proven to be involved with the Mumbai attack and others. Then no action has been taken against them, except the most flimsy of action to show to the world. So I think that it is very clear what our government has been saying repeatedly, that there is no seriousness among the Pakistan government. Why should I talk about the government? Among the Pakistan army, to stop the terrorists coming into India. They are aiding and abetting cross-border terrorism. Everybody knows that at the India-Pakistan international border or LOC, not even a bird can fly without the Pakistan army's knowledge. So how is it that people are being pushed across or aided to come across, and then the Pakistani army tries to deny all knowledge? This has been shown again and again. So I think that as far as our border is concerned, the LOC or the IB, there is very clear indication that this is aided and abetted by the Pakistan army. So why should the Indian government even think of taking a risk in sending our team, our cricket team, to perform, to play in big stadiums and so on?
Nikhil, you know how much, and you cover cricket, you know all our cricketers personally, and in our country, we love our cricketers, we worship our cricketers, and yet there are some who perhaps bat in favor of bilateral cricket with Pakistan. Do they continue to do so now, at a time when Pakistan continues to bleed India and use terror as an instrument of its foreign policy? Look at how Pakistani terrorists have killed our soldiers recently in Katwa, how they've targeted our soldiers repeatedly in the Poonch Rajouri sector, and yet you have voices that bat for bilateral cricket?
Well, Gaurav, the crux of that problem is that, all of these cricketers, if you had a clear-cut policy, they could then take a decision. The problem arises from the fact that, ahead of every India-Pakistan game, there is, jingoism on display. There are television shows, fans turn up in huge number. So you have an India-Pakistan game on various other, scenarios. And so it builds up to that. And then that rivalry builds up. And then you have a situation where you're not going to be playing them. I think the hypocrisy really then lies at a consistent policy. See, a player, especially who's donned the India jersey, his heart always beats for India. He wants to do the best that he can. He wants to contribute in the cause of the, Indian cricket team. That's what he understands. He understands the language of sport. But if you had a clear-cut, policy, if you knew that, okay, this is it, doesn't matter what the stage, doesn't matter what the tournament, the sports and, politics cannot go hand in hand. And if you say that and you say, no, we're not going to play Pakistan, I think a cricketer would understand that. A cricketer at the end of the day wants to do the best for his country. See, again, look at the kind of dividends that they are at the end of it. If you beat Pakistan, nothing succeeds like success. So a player becomes a superstar if he does well in a game versus Pakistan. So that's exactly what a player would want to do. All he knows
but that's
is
where
the
Pakistan
language
also
of sport.
makes money. Pakistan makes money out of India-Pakistan cricket matches, and that money at times is known to have gone and funded terror against India. You have Pakistani cricket players who openly talk about how their main loyalty, Arzu Kazmi, and it's shocking, there's not just one example, there's just not just that cricketer who's known as Alu, Imzamamul Haq, who says that, sporting that big beard, who says his job is to convert people to Islam. There are so many cricketers who think that their main job is to convert other cricketers, including Brian Lara, to Islam. And only for them, cricket is not a sport. For them, cricket is a way to spread their religion. Why should the world play with such a team, Arzu?
गौरव आई डोंट नो व्हाट टू से बट जितने भी प्लेयर्स के आपने नाम लिए हैं तो यकीनन दैट्स यू आर राइट that most of the players, they are most of them are very religious, and they try to convince others to to accept Islam and all these kind of things. But as long as you talk about the money that Pakistan will make, तो उससे तो I don't think Pakistan can make much money with this tournament. इससे ज्यादा तो हमें चाइना और अमेरिका से मिल चुका है, और हमें कुछ करना होता तो हम उसी में कर रहे होंगे. उससे ज्यादा पैसा उड़ा चुके हैं. I don't think that Pakistan can make very big money with this tournament. So don't worry about it. But yes, our players are, I just call them crazy, that they always try to convince people to convert into Islam. This is wrong, और उसके ऊपर यकीनन they have to work. I mean, the team और team के जो members हैं उनको रोकना चाहिए.
Okay, no, because Ambassador Sikri, sports has always been used as an instrument of foreign policy. We've talked about how nobody played with South Africa because of apartheid. You'd recall, madam, 1980 Olympic Games did not, the Western Bloc did not go for the Moscow Olympic Games because a political message had to be said. Similarly, the entire Soviet bloc stayed away from the 1984 Los Angeles Games. If sports persons can boycott the Olympics, why can't India boycott or get the world to boycott Pakistan till Pakistan uses instrument as, sports as their terror as an instrument of foreign policy?
Well, I think that our government is very clear on this policy of no absolutely zero tolerance for terrorism. Even as recently as last week, when our external affairs minister had gone to the SCO meeting, Shanghai Cooperation meeting in Astana, that resolution of coming out of that meeting is very, very unequivocal on terrorism, and saying that there can be absolutely no excuse for terrorism and it must be stopped in every way. So we are carrying this stage forward bit by bit to get the whole world to condemn terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, and to accept that there can be no justification for terrorism. It must be condemned. At the same time, I must say that we cannot have a blanket policy as advised by Mr. Nikhil Naz, that you completely ban it and say we won't play cricket. We are trying to be also a very good member of the international community to allow sporting contacts. Sports is a very good soft power projection, a methodology. It brings people to people closer together. But the other person must understand cricket in that spirit. But we saw the Sri Lankan team being attacked in Lahore in 2009, and after that, no major team has ever gone to Pakistan because of the fear of terror. So I think we must accept.
My only fear is, and Arzu Kazmi will bear me out, Pakistan continues to spread terror because they know that cricket crazy Indians want to play with Pakistan. So whether they play in Pakistan or in Dubai or in Sri Lanka, it's India that is very keen to play with Pakistan. So even if civilians are being killed in India, what is the incentive for Pakistan to stop support to terror? Tell me, Arzu, will Pakistan stop support to terror?
I think so, because इसलिए नहीं कि वो करना चाहते हैं, because we are in a pressure of FATF and World Bank and IMF and all these things. Even for China, this time China is pressurizing Pakistan to stop all these target killings and these kind of terrorism. So I think because of China, not because of Bharat, because of China, we will try to stop it.
But that is only you will go after Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, that is targeting Chinese construction workers. I will know Pakistan is serious about terror when Hafiz Saeed is hanged, or when Masood Azhar is hanged, or when Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed terror training camps and madrasas and those terrorist bases are shut down. But we'll track that story very closely. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me. The centre's big move on Agniveers. The centre has announced 10% reservation for ex-Agniveers after their 4-year tour of duty in the army. 10% reservation for those who are boarded out to join the Central Armed Police Forces. So 10% reservation in Central Armed Police Forces. In recruitment, there's also an age relaxation in organizations like the CISF and CRPF and other Central Armed Police Forces. And for the first batch, the age relaxation is of 5 years. For subsequent batches, the age relaxation would be of 2 years. We're getting some reactions. Let's listen in.
4 साल इन्होंने मशक्कत की नौकरी की है, एक्सपीरियंस हासिल किया है, कड़े अनुशासन में रहे हैं, तो बीएसएफ के लिए एकदम अनुरूप हैं ये। तो एक तरह से हमको तैयार सोल्जर मिल रहे हैं जिनको हम बहुत शॉर्ट ट्रेनिंग करके जो इनको लोकल कैप्सूल्स इनको देने हैं, वो देने के बाद हम इनको तुरंत सीमा पे तैनात करेंगे। सब बलों में इसका लाभ होगा जिसमें भी अग्निवीर जाएंगे। हम इसका इंतज़ार कर रहे हैं, जैसे ही आएंगे हम इनको तुरंत लेके और इनको जो है जो कन्वर्शन ट्रेनिंग है वो देने के बाद इनको तैनात करेंगे। जितनी हमारी वैकेंसीज होंगी उनका 10% इनके लिए रिजर्व्ड होगा, आरक्षित होगा, और इनको एज की भी छूट है। जो पहला बैच है उसमें 5 साल का एज रिलैक्सेशन है, और जो अगले बैच आएंगे उनके लिए 3 साल का रिलैक्सेशन होगा।
जहाँ तक अग्निवीर को सीआरपीएफ में लेने का सवाल है, इसके लिए ऑलरेडी सारी तैयारी हो चुकी है। गृह मंत्रालय की तरफ से जो हमारा सीआरपीएफ का जो हमारा आरआर है वो भी अमेंड होके आ गया है, जिसमें कि ऑलरेडी अग्निवीर को लेने का प्रावधान कर लिया गया है। जो पहले बैच के अग्निवीर हैं, अगर वे ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं सीआरपीएफ, तो उनके लिए 5 साल की छूट भी है उम्र में, और उसके अलावा 10% रिजर्वेशन है उनके लिए। उनको फिजिकल एफिशिएंसी टेस्ट से छूट है, और जो सेकेंड बैच से आएंगे उनके लिए 3 साल की भी उम्र में रियायत है। और फोर्स के लिए ये एक बहुत अच्छा कदम है। जब ये अग्निवीर जो कि ऑलरेडी आर्मी में ट्रेंड हैं और उन्होंने वहाँ ड्यूटी भी की हुई है, तो फोर्स को एक डिसिप्लिन्ड आदमी ट्रेनिंग के समय ही पहले ही दिन से मिल जाएगा।
भविष्य में जो भी भर्ती आरक्षक यानी कांस्टेबल के लेवल पे होगी, उसमें भी सभी श्रेणियों में 10% आरक्षण का प्रावधान किया जाएगा। न सिर्फ आरक्षण दिया जाएगा, बल्कि उनको आयु सीमा में छूट भी दी जाएगी। जो दिसंबर 2026 व जनवरी 2027 में जो पहला बैच अग्निवीरों का आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स से डिस्चार्ज होगा, उनके लिए ये छूट की सीमा 5 वर्ष होगी। लेकिन उसके पश्चात जो बैचेज आएंगे उसके लिए ये 3 वर्ष की सीमा की जाएगी। और तीसरी एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण छूट जो दी गई है वो ये है कि जो परीक्षा होगी उसमें एक शारीरिक दक्षता परीक्षा यानी फिजिकल एफिशिएंसी टेस्ट होता है, तो वो टेस्ट की आवश्यकता अग्निवीरों को नहीं होगी।
सशस्त्र सीमा बल में रिक्रूटमेंट हेतु 10% का एक्स अग्निवीर के लिए कोटा निर्धारित है। ये संशोधन हमारे एसएसबी के रिक्रूटमेंट रूल्स में कर दिया गया है। जो पहला बैच आएगा उनको 5 साल का एज रिलैक्सेशन भी उपलब्ध है। इसके साथ साथ एक्स अग्निवीर के लिए इस रिक्रूटमेंट में कोई भी फिजिकल एफिशिएंसी टेस्ट, जिसको हम पीईटी बोलते हैं, वो नहीं किया जाएगा।